The Galactic Union believed Earth was dead. For many years the blue planet showed no signals. No ships left its orbit. No messages reached the stars. Union scanners saw only broken cities, cracked oceans, and violent storms. Satellites circled a silent world. To the Union, silence meant extinction. James Carter read the final report from his office above the Union Capitol. He was a careful man, trained to trust data more than stories. The screen showed images of Earth covered in clouds and dust. Old cities lay in ruins. Fires burned in empty places. The file was clear and clean. Species status, extinct, the report said. James paused for a moment. Earth had once been loud. Humans had sent messages full of noise and emotion. Then one day they stopped. Many species vanished that way. Wars, plagues, star collapse. Earth was not special, the Union said. James pressed his thumb to the approval mark. The file locked. Earth was removed from active records. Far away beneath the ruined surface of that same planet, people were alive. Deep under layers of stone and metal, the underground city of Haven glowed with soft light. Air systems hummed. Water flowed through clean pipes. Children ran through wide halls. Humans had not died. They had hidden. Daniel Reed stood in the control room, watching star maps move slowly across a large screen. His hair was gray now, but his eyes were sharp. He remembered the day Earth went quiet. He remembered the fires, the panic, and the choice that followed. Human leaders had known they could not win if the galaxy came against them. They were too few. Too divided. So they chose a different path. They disappeared. Emily Walker worked beside Daniel, her hands moving fast across a console. She adjusted power levels and checked shield strength. Her voice was calm, but her mind was always alert. The outer sensors still show nothing, she said. No probes. No ships. Daniel nodded. Good. Let them keep thinking we're gone. Earth's surface looked broken on purpose. Old cities were left to rot. Fake storms were created by hidden machines. Radiation fields confused scanners. Even heat signals were shaped to look wrong. Earth had become a lie. Below, humans rebuilt. They built stronger machines. Smarter systems. Quiet defenses that slept until needed. Ships were hidden deep underground, wrapped in stone and silence. Every launch path was sealed. Every signal was masked. The hardest part was waiting. Years passed. Then decades. Children grew up never seeing the open sky. They learned about Earth from stories and pictures. Teachers spoke of oceans and forests as if they were dreams. But the children also learned patience. They learned control. Emily had been a child when the silence began. She remembered fear. Now she felt purpose. Do you think they will ever come back? She asked Daniel one day. They always do, Daniel replied. The galaxy forgets, then gets curious. Above them, James Carter continued his career. Earth faded into history. The file was rarely opened. New threats appeared. New alliances formed. James earned respect for his steady judgment. But sometimes, late at night, he thought about the planets marked extinct. He wondered if silence always meant death. Then he pushed the thought away. The Union trusted facts, not doubts. On Earth, facts were being rewritten. Hidden farms spread under the continents. Artificial suns lit vast underground valleys. Humans studied alien technology taken from old wrecks. They learned fast. They improved faster. No one spoke of revenge. That word had been buried with the old world. Instead, they spoke of survival. Daniel often walked through Haven's main corridor, watching people live quiet lives. Bakers worked. Engineers argued softly. Musicians played low notes that echoed through stone halls. Humanity had learned to be small without being weak. One day an alarm rang. It was soft, but it cut through the calm. Emily froze. Her screen flashed with new data. A signal had entered the system. It was distant, faint, and artificial. She looked at Daniel. A probe, she said. Daniel's face did not change, but his hands tightened. How close? Outer system, Emily answered. Union design. Silence filled the room. Years of waiting had led to this moment. Do we respond? Emily asked. Daniel shook his head. Not yet. Let them see what they expect to see. The probe moved closer. It scanned the storms. It measured radiation. It sent images back to the stars. Broken towers. Dead land. Empty seas. The lie held. James Carter read the probe's report weeks later. Earth was unchanged. Still dead. He approved the update without hesitation. Below the surface, humans watched the probe leave. Some felt relief. Others felt disappointment. The waiting continued. Emily stood alone later, staring at an image of the Earth as it once was. Blue and green. Alive and loud. "We're still here," she whispered. Daniel heard her and smiled faintly. "Yes. And one day they will know." "But not today," Emily said. "Not today," Daniel agreed. The Union moved on. Trade routes shifted. Borders changed. Earth stayed forgotten. And humanity waited. Not in fear. Not in anger. But in silence, growing stronger with every quiet year. The galaxy believed Earth was extinct. That belief was the greatest shield humans ever built. Years passed and the galaxy changed. Trade lanes grew crowded. Old worlds were stripped and sold. New conflicts pulled the Union's attention away from forgotten places. Earth remained a dead mark on an old map, a silent system with no value, until resources became scarce. That was when the Union looked back. Scans showed rich metals under Earth's crust. Rare elements slept beneath ruined cities. Oceans still held energy potential. To the Union it was wasted treasure. A mining fleet was approved. Michael Grant stood on the bridge of the lead ship, calm and confident. He was not a soldier. He was an engineer by training, a man who trusted machines and numbers. His orders were simple: land, extract, and leave. "This system is clear," Michael told his crew. "No life signs. No defense grids. We work fast." Union ships slipped into Earth's orbit like shadows. From space the planet looked exactly as the record said. Thick storms rolled across the surface. Cities lay broken and dark. No lights. No movement. Michael felt no fear. Only focus. Landing ships broke through the clouds and touched down near the ruins of an old city. Metal legs sank into cracked ground. Drills lowered. Machines powered up. The first cut into the soil began. Deep below the surface, alarms woke from a long sleep. In a hidden command base carved into stone, lights flared to life. Screens activated one by one. Data rushed in like a held breath released. Ashley Turner stood at the center of the room. She had waited most of her life for this moment. "They're here," she said quietly. Around her, officers took their positions. No one panicked. No one cheered. This was not a victory. It was a test. Ashley studied the feed from surface sensors. Union ships. Mining gear. Careless movement. "They think we're dead," someone said. Ashley nodded. "That's their mistake." She touched a control pad. Far above, the ground beneath the Union drills trembled. Michael Grant frowned as his console flashed warnings. "Seismic shift," a crew member said. "Probably unstable ground." Before Michael could reply, the ground shook harder. Drills jammed. One machine snapped in half as stone closed around it like a fist. "What's happening?" Michael asked. The answer came in silence. The storm clouds above the site twisted unnaturally. Lightning struck in perfect lines, not random flashes. The air felt heavy, charged. Then the ground opened. Metal plates slid aside, revealing smooth structures beneath the ruins. Hidden towers rose slowly, brushing away dust and broken stone. Their surfaces were clean. Undamaged. Alive. Michael stared in disbelief. "That's not possible," he whispered. From the towers, energy fields spread outward. Union ships froze in place, their systems locked by signals older and smarter than anything they carried. On Ashley's screen, every hostile machine glowed red. "Defense systems active," she said. "No lethal force." A younger officer hesitated. "No lethal force?" Ashley's voice was steady. "We don't start wars. We end mistakes." Above ground, Union crews ran in panic. Weapons were useless. Engines would not respond. Communication lines filled with noise. Michael tried to send a message to the fleet. "This is Grant," he said. "We have contact. Repeat, Earth is not dead." The message did not leave the system. Human drones emerged from hidden ports, silent and fast. They surrounded the Union ships, not firing, only watching. Their presence was enough. Michael felt cold fear settle in his chest. This was not a trap made in anger. This was a plan built with patience. In the command base, Ashley watched the feed without expression. "They woke the planet," she said. "Now they see it watching back." One of the officers asked, "Do we reveal ourselves?" Ashley waited. She remembered the stories. The years underground. The silence. "Yes," she said at last. But slowly. A single signal broke through the storm. "Clear. Come. Human." Michael's console lit up. "This is Earth," the voice said. "Power down. Do not resist. You are not under attack." Michael swallowed. "This is Union Fleet Leader Michael Grant. Earth is listed as extinct." The reply came without anger. Your records are wrong. Around him, Union crew members stood frozen, staring at the rising structures, the moving ground, the living planet. Michael understood then. The Union had not found a dead world. They had walked into a sleeping one. In the hidden base, Ashley exhaled for the first time since the alarm rang. They came to take, she said softly. Instead they learned. Earth's defenses did not fire a single shot. They did not need to. The message was clear, written in stone and silence. Earth had teeth, and it remembered. The Union soldiers expected death. That was what they had been taught about unknown worlds. If a species survived long enough to hide, it would strike with anger when discovered. The Union crews waited for fire, for punishment, for revenge. None of that came. Instead, human drones guided Union soldiers out of their frozen ships. Energy fields held them still but did not harm them. Weapons were removed carefully and placed on the ground. No one was struck. No one was shouted at. John Miller walked at the front of the human response team. He wore no armor, only a simple uniform. His hands were open and empty. His face was calm. The Union soldiers watched him with fear and confusion. Follow the markers, John said in clear, slow words. No one will be hurt. Michael Grant stood among his crew, his heart racing. He had prepared himself for many outcomes but not this. The humans moved with quiet control. They did not rush. They did not threaten. They acted like this moment had always been expected. Union leaders tried to contact their fleets outside the system. Signals failed or returned broken. Panic spread fast. In a hidden chamber deep beneath Earth's surface, Lauren Hayes worked at a communication console. Her task was more dangerous than any weapon. She was sending truth. Lauren opened channels the Union had forgotten existed. Old emergency frequencies. Neutral trade bans. Archive links used only by historians. She sent images first. Living cities beneath Earth's crust. Human children studying. Engineers at work. Farms glowing under artificial suns. Ships sleeping inside mountains. Then she sent data. Long-term power records. Population growth charts. Defense grid maps, carefully limited but clear enough to prove strength. Finally, she sent a simple message. Earth lives. Across the galaxy, screens lit up. Union officials watched in shock as the message spread faster than it could be stopped. The extinct world was alive. Not barely surviving but prepared. Back on Earth's surface, Union soldiers were guided into containment zones. The spaces were clean. Warm. Medical units scanned them for injuries. Michael Grant looked around in disbelief. You're treating us, he said. A human medic nodded. Your guest. For now. Michael did not know how to respond to that. John Miller met with Union officers inside a secured chamber. The room was simple. No symbols of power. No weapons in sight. Union leaders argued loudly among themselves. Voices overlapped. Fear turned into anger. John waited. When the noise reached its peak, he raised one hand. The room fell silent. You came here to take resources, John said. You believed no one lived here. That belief was wrong. One Union officer stood. You deceived the galaxy. John did not deny it. Yes. Gasps filled the room. We hid to survive, John continued. The galaxy judged us before it knew us. Silence was our shield. Another officer leaned forward. You could have attacked us. We chose not to, John said. That choice matters. Outside the chamber, human forces remained still. No weapons were aimed. No displays of power were shown. The message was clear without words. Humans did not need fear to control the moment. Michael Grant watched the meeting from behind a transparent barrier. He saw something that unsettled him deeply. The humans were not emotional. They were disciplined. Lauren Hayes watched reports flood in from across the galaxy. Some species reacted with fear. Others with awe. Many demanded answers from the Union. Old records were pulled. Old decisions questioned. Earth's disappearance was no longer a closed case. Lauren leaned back, exhausted but steady. They can't put this away again, she said softly. Back in the chamber, Union leaders realized how deep their mistake was. They had not discovered a weak survivor. They had walked into a civilization that had learned restraint. What do you want? One leader finally asked. John Miller met his gaze. Truth, he said. And time. The leader frowned. Time for what? For the galaxy to understand, John replied. And for you to decide what kind of neighbor you want to be. The Union leaders exchanged uneasy looks. They had expected demands. Territory. Technology. Punishment. Instead, they were given responsibility. Outside, Union soldiers sat quietly, guarded but unharmed. Some stared at the sky through clear ceilings, seeing Earth's clouds for the first time without lies. Michael Grant felt shame press down on him. He had signed the orders. He had trusted the record. "We were wrong," he whispered. A human guard nearby heard him. The guard nodded once. "That's why you're still alive." As hours passed, no executions came. No threats were made. Humans waited. The galaxy waited too. Every moment of calm made the truth heavier. Earth had not answered with fire. It had answered with control. And the Union finally understood that their greatest error was not invading a living world. It was believing that mercy meant weakness. Honestly. Because you have already shown it. That was true. Earth's defense system still held Union ships in place, but no shots had been fired. Soldiers were fed. Injured crew were treated. No executions. No threats. Power held back. "We could have destroyed your fleet," Jessica said. "You know this." "Yes," the leader said. "That is why we are afraid." Jessica leaned back slightly. Her voice remained calm. "Fear is not punishment. It is a lesson." The Union leaders listened closely. "We demand truth," Jessica continued. "Not just about Earth. About every world you marked extinct. About every resource taken without consent." A murmur spread through the council. "You ask too much," one leader said weakly. Jessica's eyes hardened. "We ask what you owe." Silence followed. One by one the Union leaders agreed. Records would be opened. Lies corrected. Stolen worlds acknowledged. The galaxy would see what had been hidden. As the agreement took shape, tension slowly shifted. Fear did not vanish, but it changed. It became respect. On Earth, humans watched the broadcast quietly. Some felt anger rise in their chests. Others felt relief. All remembered the long years underground. Jessica ended the call with simple words. "Earth will not seek revenge," she said. "But we will not return to silence." When the screens went dark, no cheers followed. No celebration filled the halls. Control was not loud. Across the galaxy, reactions spread fast. Smaller species felt hope. Stronger empires felt unease. A hidden truth had been revealed. Earth had power. More important, Earth had restraint. Union fleets remained locked in place until new orders arrived. No sudden moves were made. Everyone waited. Jessica stood alone for a moment after the call. She closed her eyes and breathed out slowly. The hardest choice had not been to hide. It had been to stop. In choosing not to destroy, Earth had changed the balance of the galaxy. The message was clear to all who watched. Control was stronger than fear. Truth was stronger than force. And Earth had chosen both. The galaxy did not forget what happened at Earth. It tried to explain it first. Some called it an error. Others called it luck. A few called it mercy. But the truth spread faster than excuses ever could. The Union archives were opened under pressure from many worlds. Old files were reviewed. Decisions once marked final were questioned. The record that declared Earth extinct was brought into the light. James Carter stood alone in his office as the file reopened. He read it again slowly this time. The same images. The same silence. The same approval mark, his mark. He remembered pressing his thumb to the screen years ago. He remembered telling himself that facts mattered more than doubt. Now he knew what silence had hidden. The council chamber was full when the correction was made. No speeches were given. No banners were raised. The false record was simply erased. Earth's status changed. Not extinct. Not hostile. Survivor world. The words carried weight. Across the galaxy, systems reacted in quiet ways. Trade guilds paused routes. Military planners revised maps. Scholars rewrote lessons. The idea of extinction no longer felt simple. James Carter resigned the same day. He did not fight the decision. He did not offer excuses. He stood before the council and spoke only once. "I failed to ask the last question," he said. "What if they were quiet on purpose?" No one answered him. He left the chamber without ceremony. His name would remain in the records, but not as a hero. As a warning. On Earth there was no celebration. The underground cities remained calm. Systems returned to low power. Defense grids went back to sleep. The planet did not expand into space. No fleets were sent to claim influence. Humans returned to silence. But it was not the same silence as before. Now it was chosen with strength. Daniel Reed watched the archive update from the command center. He nodded once and turned away. The correction mattered, but it was not the goal. "We're seen now," someone said. "Yes," Daniel replied. That was always enough. Emily Walker walked through a city corridor where children played under artificial light. They laughed, free and unaware of how close the galaxy had come to burning them. We don't need to shout, she said softly. They heard us. Union fleets withdrew under watchful eyes. No farewell messages were sent. No threats followed them. The lesson had already landed. Michael Grant stood on his ship as it pulled away from Earth. He looked back at the blue planet through the viewing window. It looked calm. Almost gentle. He felt smaller than he ever had before. They let us go, one of his crew said. Michael nodded. That's what scares me. Jessica Moore filed the final communication report and locked it behind layers of access. Truth had been given. Control had been shown. Nothing more was needed. John Miller returned to training teams, preparing for futures that might never come. Preparation was not fear. It was respect for time. The galaxy adjusted slowly. Some species reached out with careful messages. Others stayed away. A few watched from a distance, trying to measure a world that refused to act like a conqueror. Earth did not respond to every call. It did not need to. The silence spoke clearly now. Humans were not extinct. They were patient. They had learned how to wait, how to build without being seen, how to hold power without using it. They had learned that survival was not loud. And the galaxy learned something else. Patience was not weakness. Patience was restraint. Patience was control. And when held by a species that remembered every quiet year underground, patience could be terrifying.